Hello, Dr. Strangelove and any TA who may be watching this video. My name is Cameron Benesso, and this is my research video essay for CMN 1160, Section C. So starting with who I am, so my name's Cameron. I am 21 years old, and I'm currently a fourth year student at the University of Ottawa studying political science and public administration. In addition to attending school full-time, I also run my own firm. So I work as a political consultant, and I have a small office and a small team of people that you can see here in the lower left-hand corner. These are my colleagues. And so I work on Albert Street, and I deal a lot with political communications. So print media, digital media, social media. And so that's what really inspired me to actually take this course, is because I wanted to deepen my understanding of media as a whole. So where was I when I conducted my research? So as for my field site, that was actually all conducted at my office on Albert Street. And you can see in my lower left-hand corner there, that's where my office is actually located. And so in addition to working full-time and running my own firm full-time, I go to school full-time. And so it was natural for me to conduct all my research at my field site, which would be at my office. And so how exactly did I gather data? Well, obviously a lot of data was taken from Google and also National News Watch. National News Watch is my favorite news aggregate. It's where I consume most of my media from. A lot of the top stories of the day, are always showcased on National News Watch. And so that's what kind of really fed my media diet. But in addition to that, I was also at ground zero during, the Freedom Convoy protest, which is a large part of my overall research report. And so you can see by me having, my office on Albert Street, I really did have a firsthand experience of everything that was going on. And so that's definitely reflected in my research report. So as per the average amount of time per day that I spent on my phone, I spent an average of 459.5 minutes, or roughly a little over 7 hours per day on my phone. And so, some people might consider that a lot, but to answer the question, did I master my phone or has my smartphone mastered me? I would say that I've definitely mastered my phone. And the reason being is because a lot of my overall content that I consume on my smartphone each day has to deal with things to do with my work and overall, activities that allow me to be productive, such as accessing my email, watching videos, speeches from Parliament, keeping up to date with my clients. That's what I use my smartphone for. So to answer the question, I think I myself have been able to master my smartphone because a lot of my leisurely activities, the amount of time that I spend on them is nothing compared to what I spend just using my smartphone to communicate or work each day. And so here are a few pictures of the favorite artwork that I created. So for the research report, we had to create a series of sculptures, and this was my favorite one that I created. As you can see here, it uses two different mediums, one of them being clay, obviously, and then the other one is watercolor. And so I was excited to get the opportunity to, explore these different types of mediums because I haven't really had the chance to use watercolor before. And so you can see there the color between the brown and the blue, it mixes. And so this was just my favorite artwork because it allowed me to be creative and, it allowed me to go outside the guidelines, right? Really think outside the box for creating this piece. At the end of the day, it doesn't really have too much to do with my actual research report. However, it's something that's definitely very important to me, and it's something that I definitely will still hang on to after this course. And so how did I analyze my data? So for analyzing my data, what I did was I took my field reports, and then I categorize different platforms versus emotions associated with those platforms. So on the left, you can see here that, when it comes to social media, I claim that it allows me to be informed, but also social media can have a negative influence and it contributed to a cynical feeling. And so what are the patterns that I found in my media consumption? Well, the overall patterns that I saw was that different platforms evoke different emotions in different people. And by what I mean by that is that, Netflix, for example, when we look at that platform, it allows me to be entertained. I associate a happy feeling with it. Meanwhile, we look at other platforms like news, for example, it really varies because, it can either be positive, negative, good, or bad. And so what did my analysis reveal about me in the world? Well, at the end of the day, I consume many different types of media on a daily basis, and media impacts my emotions and perspective of life. And I'll give a good example was when a lot of the early Ukraine stuff came out. I that definitely I think impacted me and on a very personal level because I know personally a lot of Ukrainian people. I've gone to school with a lot of Ukrainian people, and so it's interesting to see how just different news stories and different forms of media can really have an impact about you. And so at the end of the day, media is constantly around us and media is constantly changing. And so why is my research journey important? Well, as I said, media is constantly evolving. We as humans, we need to be mindful of the type of media we consume and how it shapes our perception of the world. So for example, recognizing misinformation or propaganda when we see it. And, looking back on my research report, it ultimately allowed me to reflect on myself as an individual. And so thank you very much for consuming my video research essay. And it's been a pleasure to be able to present it to you. And I have thoroughly enjoyed this course. So thank you so much.